Welcome back to the Waffle Press podcast. I'm your host, Diego Crespo. With me is my other host, Gina Versa.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm a little tired, but I'm good. I'm good. And with us today is our correspondent from Sundance. I get to phrase it all fancy like that right now. Yeah. Andrew Salazar. Hello. How are you, my friend?
Hello. I am actually still here in Utah, live. I am freezing. The festival has been done for over a week, but to record this, I had to stay here on site because I am that dedicated.
Is he like Jack Nicholson in The Shining? You're just frozen? You're just stuck there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here in the middle of the street. There's still people are staring at me like I'm weird. I'm actually the only person. Also because I'm not Mormon, so they're like, "What is this guy doing here?" I'm infiltrating, but
well, you guys just chilling with all the Mormons now.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Okay, look, I have to say this. I've never been. Okay, look, I've never been to Utah ever, and I feel like a lot of like people on the West Coast and the East Coast, we have this idea of Utah through pop culture, like Book of Mormon, etc. We just know that Mormons live there, but when you go to Utah, like the moment that you step off the plane and you're like in a Salt Lake International Airport, it's not a joke anymore. Because, and I mean no disrespect whatsoever.
Yeah.
But you can't turn a left or right without running into a Mormon. It's like really, it's kind of like astounding. Like they're like everywhere, and like because we were at Sundance, like you can take buses for free, but we were also Ubering.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of our Uber drivers, they were like casually like, "Oh, are you guys Mormon?" Because I'm Mormon. I was like, "What?" Like, it's like you can't escape it. Like the subject is gonna come up like every single day, a few times a day. So just get ready to talk about the Church of Latter-day Saints whenever you go to Utah.
So, did they ask you about Joseph Smith or no?
No, but there's a lot of statues and there's a lot of stuff about. I mean, I'm not very knowledgeable on the religion, but there's like statues everywhere and stuff like that. But I was minding my own business. I was being respectful.
Yeah,
I was
that's
just kind of like
that's good.
I was kind of stunned of how like prevalent it was because I was just so unaware. Because my only exposure was like what we see on TV and what they talk about, but it is extremely prevalent.
That's cool.
Yeah. Before we get into the rest of that, plugs. What are you guys working on lately? What's new? Andrew, you can go actually after you heathen. No, we're gonna hear a lot about Sundance from you. But Gene, what do you want to highlight? What's going on in your life, really quick?
Right now we're prepping Vera. You guys are both working on it.
Yeah.
I've sent you both. Excuse me, Diego. Me and you have finished the final shooting script.
I'm tired.
Yeah, we're both tired of the movie, and right now we're just finishing casting on it, and we have some concept art. Hopefully, going to post that soon of the final designs of the character Vera, and we're working on the costume and trying to get that done this month. So just a heavy pre-pro.
Yeah. Really quick, we're also starting the Batman retrospective soon. Starting in March, so get ready to check that out. And at the time of this recording, there's still the Halloween 2018 giveaway. Just go to my Twitter and retweet the episode, the final podcast episode of the Halloween retrospective, for a chance to win a digital code of Halloween 2018. It's a good movie, and I think a very good podcast episode. I'm very proud of it. So go check out all that.
I was listening, and I really enjoyed it.
Thank you. And also, head over to the Patreon because you can support our show. And also, if you donate like $15, then we'll talk about a movie that you want us to talk about. Mm-hmm. For the price of a movie, you get a movie, kind of, from my perspective and someone else's. Yeah. So give us money. It would be cool to do this for a living. So, whatever have yous. All right, back to Andrew. Tell me about your life. How was Sundance apart from the Mormons? Let's hear everything. What happened? Your experience? Velvet Buzzsaw? Question mark.
I want to say this right off the bat, and it's gonna sound like it was planned, but I swear, like to God, like ideally. But I saw 18 movies within the span of like 7 days, and that's really, really hard. And like, I can't tell you how difficult it is. I mean, you're just sitting on your butt most of the day, but these theaters, like the amount of leg room changes each time, and like you really can't stretch, so it's difficult. And I think I only got really sleepy to like 1. And I think that's a testament to how good the movies I saw that they kept me up. But it hit me after Sundance was over that out of the 18 movies I saw, were directed by women, and even the films that were directed by like white males. No, like no offense, but they had very diverse casts, regardless. So I felt like this year, and I spoke to people that went to Sundance last year, but they said this year there was like a major like boost in like representation, and I think that should be highlighted. And like I said, like I planned my movies based on my interests and like stuff I wanted to see. I had very little of what the cast and crew, etc., because I'm going in blind to a lot of these movies. But I was very delighted that the banners of I saw so many different voices from all over the world, and I think I couldn't have gotten that experience anywhere else. So I just want to say that was really dope, unexpected. Hopefully next year the fest even further. I think that's something to look forward to. But out of the 18 movies I saw, I got to talk about 3. And these 3 movies all had very, very different reactions, and I saw them in with full crowds. The first one should make for like a very interesting story. I guess it premiered in Spanish last year, and it just was making festival dance this year. But Jennifer made a new movie. It's called Nightingale. Now, when I was choosing my movies, I was looking at the descriptions, like, oh, this sounds interesting. And this description, I'm not going to spoil anything, but it kind of sounded like Kill Bill, but as a period piece. So I was like, okay, I'm down with that. I'll see what it is. And I have not seen The Babadook. A lot of people love The Babadook. And I saw that Jennifer Kent's name was attached, and I was like, okay. A lot of my friends like this movie. She's an upcoming, female director. This sounds dope. Very interesting enough, we got to the theater. I was like ID'd at the door, and like I'm 22, and I understand that, and I'm short. I have like a baby face. I know I don't look 22. So in that moment, I kind of like shrugged it off. I was like, oh, this is funny. I haven't been carded for like a rated R movie in like years. So, but I treated it, and the lady was like, this movie is very mature. So we're taking IDs for everyone. I was like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. To the movie, something happens, and I want to say it from that, I've seen plenty of graphic films. I've seen the Human Centipede movies. Those are stupid, but I've seen them. I've seen, like, I've gone down, like, the list of, like, top 10 worst films you can sit through, etc. Like Audition. Audition's very good, though. I've seen Audition. I've even seen the very notorious, it's very stupid, a Serbian film.
Oh, God.
It's like, I feel like I built a stomach and a kind of like a vulnerability to graphic stuff. I'm not saying that I'm not affected, but like, I'm not going to turn it off. You know what I mean? I'm not going to, if I was in a movie theater, I wouldn't walk out. I've never walked out of a movie theater my entire life. I'm not that type of person. But, so 5 minutes into the movie, something happens. I was like, okay, you know what? This isn't the most, the contents of the scene are terrible, but the way it's filmed is not super, violent. So I was like, okay, whatever. 20 minutes later, I'm not even kidding. It has to be, like, the worst, like, scene I've seen in, like, a movie theater my entire life.
Oh my God.
And I'm not saying this to add like shock value to the podcast, etc., but it is genuinely one of the most horrific and heartbreaking things I've ever seen in a movie theater. And by the end of that scene, people were just walking up.
Good Lord.
Jeez.
The movie is 2 hours long, and it just, even after that very specific, haunting, very long too scene, terrible stuff keeps on happening. And like, it just keeps escalating, and people just kept walking out. The movie's 2 hours long, and people were even walking out until like 5 minutes before it was over. And I'm like, in my head, like, dude, like if you stayed this long, might as well just wait to watch it to the end.
Yeah, was there like half a theater left?
Yes, and like people are probably like wondering. To give you guys like an idea, it's about an Irish indentured servant in Tasmania in the 1800s. Mm-hmm. Tasmania is the island off of Australia, and the movie tackles the misogyny, the abuse directed at not only the indentured servants, but at the indigenous Tasmanians that lived on the island, because like in the colonization, very terrible. It tackles all these subjects in one 2-hour long movie, and it's just so heartbreaking. It's so daunting. It takes the energy out of you. Even like after the movie was over, like throughout the rest of Sundance, I overheard people having conversations next to me. It's like, oh, did you see that movie, The Nightingale? And like I was hearing a great like variation of reaction. Someone said, I loved it. Someone said, it was too violent for me. I hated it. It was pretty. I mean, to be in that moment is amazing to hear all these things from people around you. But I completely understand. I think personally, the movie could have only been made by a female director specifically because all this violence, and this goes back to like violence in film is too. It's it's too commercial, etc.
Yeah.
The movie is not violent for shock value. The movie is not violent to try to get you to get a reaction out of you. The movie is violent in the same ways that a movie about slavery would be violent. If you watch a movie about this topic, naturally things are going to be very violent because that's how it was.
Yeah.
Like, plain and simple. It's not going to sugarcoat a very important topic. And as the movie was going on, like I was tired. I was like, wow. I just kept telling myself, the worst things are going to happen. I should not be happy. And the worst things, they keep on happening. And I realized halfway through, you know what? I understand. This is coming from, I can only assume that Jennifer Kent made this movie in like some kind of response to the Me Too movement. She's tired of like the white man, because the white man, by the end of this movie, you will clear the white man is sexist, the white man is evil, the white man is racist. And you know what? I was down for that. That's a good message, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it's all true.
Yeah, it's accurate. It's very accurate of our actual world. So
very, I will say the movie is very powerful. All my friends thought it was very powerful, but I will say it's not for everyone. When I say this movie has to be the hardest sit down I've ever had, I'm not over exaggerating.
Yeah,
it is very hard to watch, and I think it's a testament. It's very hard to watch, and there's barely any nudity in the movie.
Oh, okay.
So it's just the way things are filmed, the contents of like the story. It's
like
very heartbreaking.
The intensity of the storytelling.
Yes.
Yeah, like the vibe that they put out, and yeah,
it's not like all these other movies that you learn like in film history. It's literally like this is like the type of stuff that would happen in this day and age. Mm-hmm. And even though it's in the same vein as Kill Bill, it's not glorified. It doesn't take it. It's not under like a Hollywood light, because in Kill Bill you get like the female offer revenge, and like she kills the villain in the end. This is like similar, but it's not a Hollywood ending. This is a very realistic. It stays true to the timepiece, and I think if you stay till the end, you'll get all those 2 hours just pass by won't go to waste. Like you'll get it. But I'm just saying, if you are not down to see some of this stuff, you're not gonna like this movie at all. Like, you're gonna be mad. A lot of people are gonna be upset watching this. It's gonna offend a lot of people.
Yeah. Do you hope like there? I mean, it seems like it's a very accurate movie, but like, would you hope because it doesn't seem like there was any disclaimer or anything. Would you hope that there would be one?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's like I said, it's strange because the movie it doesn't have a lot of nudity. There's like a little bit, but it's not like over exaggerated.
Yeah.
But I think there should be, because it's like if you were to watch like Roots on TV, there would be a disclaimer, right?
Yeah.
Because the content is very mature.
Mm-hmm.
I think this kind of pushes R a little bit, but just because it's just so like heartbreaking
Mm-hmm.
and like true. But I feel like the what saved it from being NC-17 was the nudity. There's barely nudity. I think it's a testament because it goes to show you don't need to have like a lot of nudity just to get like this type of message across. Like I say, kudos to Jennifer Kent because I think she really pulled off something very powerful. But with with this kind of power, not everyone's gonna be able to take it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, funny thing, someone had a seizure during the screening too.
Or I don't know about
Uh,
funny.
Okay, no offense.
Okay.
Like I said, people kept walking out, and people talk about on social media. Oh, I was at so and so festival and had walkouts. I feel cool to be in that room to finally see what people talk about because it's usually like older individuals and they'll just storm out the theater, and you're just kind of like, well, what did you expect? Didn't you like read the description? But anyways, there was a very bloody scene in the middle of the movie, and I didn't think it was like really really bad. But it's just very intense, like we're talking about. It's not so much that there's blood spewing everywhere, but it's just very, very, very intense. And someone screamed like, "Oh, turn on the lights!" And right away, like one of my friends told me, it's like they thought that there was like a shooter because today in today's
Yeah.
day and age, it's like one of the
God.
first things that comes through our heads.
Yeah.
But I guess I was just so like into the movie that never crossed my head that someone like ended up having a seizure.
Oh,
And it was specifically right after this intense moment.
mhm.
But good job on Sundance because they turned the lights on right away. They stopped the movie right away. They got people on site. And I went on Twitter after, and I guess it was this middle-aged guy who he was epileptic. He was prone to seizures. But good on him because he like had a seizure. He got the help, and he stayed in the theater and he finished the movie.
Whoa!
So, like,
Oh, wow.
I
yeah.
didn't know that.
According to Twitter, what people were talking about and apparently someone asked him because he was like a pretty chill guy, but yeah, he finished. Even this man had a seizure and he was like, "I gotta finish this movie."
Jeez, yeah. Well,
I think that's a testament. Just
yeah,
take that. Just
he's
take that.
he's a
Take
true
that.
film lover, dude. Well, I
Yep.
hope he recovers and all that too. Poor guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like
Apparently he was fine.
Okay.
Yeah, you said it was fine.
yeah. I mean, maybe I don't know if he has a history of it. Maybe he's experienced it before or something.
Just imagine,
That's
like,
what he
once
said.
the movie was over,
Yeah.
he was like, "Yeah, it was okay."
Yeah,
Like I did like the third act.
right. I was gonna add. Well, I was just gonna say kudos to the Egyptian theater staff and the Sundance staff. The Egyptian theater is where it's held, correct?
Mhm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, good.
Oh, this wasn't at the Egyptian. This was at another one, like further down the street.
Oh, gotcha.
But like the staff in general, they're all very on point, all very willing to help. That is very kudos to them.
Yeah, definitely.
Another movie that I think is gonna have people talking about, in my opinion, is Honey Boy. And for those unfamiliar, this is the project Shia LaBeouf wrote when he was in rehab.
Okay.
Most recently, when he was most recently in rehab.
Okay.
And it's basically about I feel like there's like a new interesting like subgenre of like autobiographical film that it's about you, but it's not really about you.
Mhm.
Like Roma is about Alfonso is a upbringing, but he's not in the movie.
Yeah.
But this one is kind of in that same vein where it's basically about Shia LaBeouf, but it's not Shia LaBeouf. That he wrote about himself,
Mhm.
and he plays his dad. He plays his father.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I read about that.
And it's like the ultimate form of therapy. And like honestly, like I grew up watching Even Stevens on Disney Channel. I grew up when Shia LaBeouf first blew up with the Transformers series.
So
Like,
holes.
Yup. He was like top of the game, and I feel like because of that, I had like a very sentimental connection to this film because it's very, very beautiful.
Oh.
It's directed by Israeli director Alma Harel, and she hasn't done a lot of films, but apparently Shia was like such a big fan of hers that he like sent her his screenplay. It's like you're gonna do this movie. Like there's no one else that's gonna do this movie but you.
Wow.
And it stars It stars what's his name? Noah Jupe. He was in A Quiet Place. He's he's the main son in that
Yeah.
film, and
Good.
he plays. So the movie goes. It's literally about Shia LaBeouf, like the same character, like the same like characteristics and the same like real facts are actually from his life, but it's just not his name. Uh, he plays Shia when he was younger, and Shia plays like his father, and Lucas Hedges plays an older version of the same person. And I think it's a very coming from Shia specifically, it's a very personal and like dark look into like how young actors especially can get treated in Hollywood, and how they get cast aside, and how like they just keep bouncing back from like project to project, and how like they can dive into like narcotics, and how all of that can be like rooted with like a personal like demons that are like never addressed. But like, who would have thought that? Honestly, like, I'm not even kidding. Throughout the entire movie, like the Pack Theater, and again, Tessa Thompson was in my theater too. Funny enough.
Oh wow.
Yeah, she walked in with Kirstie Clemens, and where else are you gonna see that? That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But throughout the entire like screening, like you just heard people like sniffling, like you heard people like crying, like you heard like it's a very like, I'm not saying just as a fan of like Shia that like I like the movie, like people legitimately were um like pretty much like crying really like loud for like a lot of the movie. And I feel like it might be underestimated because it is Shia, and he does have like this negative. I'm not saying Shia is perfect. I'm just saying that when people think about him, they think of like maybe like he's kind of like a joke, or they kind of think like they might think of memes. But this is like the very definition of like personal autobiographical, like no limits, no filters. And I think if you follow this actor for such a long time, this will like really open your eyes, because you do see how it is like. And it's funny enough because like the first like 30 seconds feels like massive shade at like the Transformers movies.
Yeah, it
But
seems
like not in a very cliche, not in a very corny. It's like when you watch it, you're like, damn, like Shia really had to be doing that for like 3 goddamn movies under Michael Bay. Like that doesn't sound like fun. But I feel like if you give it a chance, you're not gonna regret it. Because he is saying something, like he is talking about something. And interesting enough, like he showed up after the movie for a Q&A, and someone asked him a question, and he didn't even ask the question. Like he used this question like just tell him something. But usually during Q&As, that could be like I could go either really really bad or really really good.
Yeah.
And he said, because Shia plays his own dad, right?
Yes.
So he's talking to Shia, and he goes, "Yeah, during the movie, you say a certain line to so and so over and over, and I just want to tell you that my dad would say the exact same phrase to me." Oh, and he was like fighting back tears when he was saying this, right?
Jeez.
And I just want to say that the way it just hit home, because I've never seen something more real and relating to my own father. And I don't know, just like to see that, I was kind of like lost for words.
Yeah.
Because you don't get that kind of experience like every day, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like I will say, the screenplay is very very strong, and I'm pretty sure Shia had some kind of help from somebody, because for this to be like one of your first screenplays, I don't know, you either have like some hidden talent under your fingers, or you had some really good people come in like a script doctor that script. But I'm just saying. Oh, and FKA Twigs is in the movie too, so like, why wouldn't you see that anyway? That's like all like those add to success only.
Yeah.
And I feel okay. One more movie, because I feel like this one's really like gonna have people talking, at least specific people. I had no idea like this movie was like even a thing, even before like researching into Sundance. But it's called Little Monsters, and it's from Australia, but it stars Lupita Nyong'o,
Okay.
and it's like I've never seen. I've seen a few movies that like when you watch it right away in that same viewing, you're like cult classic. right away, without question, feel like cult classic. Mad Max Fury Road, classic, cult classic. People are gonna like a certain specific crowd is gonna latch onto this so hard, and they're gonna love it. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm all for that. Watching this movie again, I'm not over exaggerating because I'm describing my experience, but a lot of my theater, full theater, laugh out loud like to the max.
Jeez.
A majority of the way, and a piece of me was like, man, these people at Sundance, they're really like react. They really love to react because I'm rarely in movie theaters where people are like knee slapping and giving each other high fives. Like I don't know what it is. Maybe
It's like Con or something.
I don't know, but like these people really like. I like the movie, but imagine. I can't really explain it else. Lupita Nyong'o is a kindergarten teacher who must protect a group of children, kindergartners, who are on a field trip that just happens to cross paths with the zombie infection.
Oh.
And it's a dark comedy.
Okay.
But there's plenty of zombie effects. Lupita Nyong'o has to save children by playing the ukulele.
That I did not know. I had heard about this one a little while ago, and I got very excited, but the ukulele thing just threw me for a loop. So
No, it makes sense when you watch the movie. It's not stupid. Like a lot of this movie sounds stupid, and a lot of it knows it's stupid. But when you watch it, you're like, "Wow, this is so stupid. It's good." Like it reminded me a lot of Adam McKay's like earlier works, like Anchorman. Like where like they're just so stupid, and you know what you're watching is really dumb, but you know you just can't get enough of it. This is exactly what that is.
it's a smart kind of it's stupid done smart.
Right. Yeah. Basically.
No, there's plenty of witty like comedy. It's not purely for dumb laughs, but it's also very very raunchy. Like more than a movie with children should be probably, and that probably might offend like a few people, but it totally works. It's from an Australian director, Abe Forsyth. Josh Gad's in it, and like, look, I don't really care for like Josh Gad. Like, Olaf is cool and everything. He would make a cool penguin. Yeah, but like, I'm not even kidding. He's probably like he almost steals the movie. And you wouldn't think Josh Gad would be really good at stealing movies, but when he's giving material that's unlike you've ever seen him in, and he's just like balls out, like, all right, I'm gonna do a line of coke and I'm gonna go on set. It's really
oh my God.
fun.
What? Jesus.
You almost feel like it. You almost feel like that's what he's doing, but it's like you're not gonna see that anywhere else. And it's almost kind of meta because the character I'm not gonna spoil, but the character he plays is he's a TV child personality, so kind of like Mr. Rogers, and how he fits in the story of a zombie invasion should not work whatsoever, but it does. And the fact that it's rated R and like he can do like all of this stuff that he can't do like in a Disney movie, you know, it's just totally fun. It works. I don't know why it does, but it does. And when there's parts when it goes full like campy zombie movie, and like we don't get enough of those now. I feel like the last one was it Zombieland?
I think so.
I feel like
you know what? There was a little Australia. I don't know what it is. Australia's killing it. Wormwood, Road of the Dead.
Okay.
It's a small little $100,000 movie that was really, really good. Yeah, everyone check out Wormwood if you get the chance. It used to be on Netflix. It rules.
But yeah, like I feel like all the zombies, like I'm not again more zombies movies the better, but like they're all very serious, and I don't mind that. But there's like, when was the last time there was like a really good campy, like just for fun, like hold no punches, like zombie like movie that's not Shaun of the Dead, that's not Zombieland, you know, because that's all we got.
Right.
I feel like this one very, very fits well. It sits next to those two, with it totally being its very own thing. And like I said, I like that really stupid stuff. It's not that hard to make me laugh. Like I said, I'll watch Anchorman, and I'll just laugh at like the most like corny, like so stupid jokes. And it has plenty of that, but like I got myself laughing really like hard for a few times. I was like, wow, I don't really react this way to comedies a lot, so I'm definitely gonna give that a rewatch. And I believe it got purchased by Hulu and another company I can't remember right now.
I guess I
But
have
that's
to buy
good, yeah.
Hulu now.
I hope it doesn't go to streaming right away. I hope there's some kind of like theatrical release because it's very much a theater experience.
Mhm.
But like, who knows? Maybe that it's on Hulu, more people around the world will get to see it. Oh no, never mind. Hulu's only in the US right now. But I forget. I use that argument for like Netflix all the time, but I forgot. I forget Hulu's only in the US. Well, who knows? But like, if you can see the movie somehow, go out of your way, save yourself like an hour and 30 minutes. It's gonna be worth your time.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah, thanks for sharing all those.
oh, sorry. Really quick. Did you see the Satanic Temple movie about Hales?
Oh, okay. Really quick.
Okay, really quick. Sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
There's this documentary I saw called Hail Satan with a question mark. So it's like Hail Satan? That's how you say the name. And it's basically about the modern Satanic Temple. And it's not like a typical, like, you're on the Discovery Channel. Here's a history of Satanism. It's not like that. It's actually very much, you get to know the people who started the temple, and you get to know, like, why they did it. And you get to know, there's, like, interviews with members of the temple from like all across the United States, and it's really legitimately a very insightful, eye-opening experience because, like again, these people, you should know that there's two satanic church they're not cults, like official religions. One is on Twitter and is verified, and it's probably the one that people know the most. And I think it's called the Satanic Church, and it's verified. And that one is the original religion that was founded like in the 70s during like the hippie wave. The one that documentary is about is I think it's called TST, the Satanic Temple. They were founded in the 21st century, and it's almost like a new wave of Satanism.
Okay.
But I'm not even kidding. The way it's very insightful. You will actually like. I was sitting down and I was like, wow, like I actually legitimately agree with these people because it's more. It's really political because just I'm not gonna. It comes out on Easter weekend out of all the days. It's really funny.
Oh, that's perfect.
It's very funny. You get to know these people, but like it's also very like I don't know how to say it, but like eye opening because these people, a lot of them, you'll discover they come from backgrounds that reject them. So, for example, you'll notice that a lot of the members are LGBTQ because they feel that they've been rejected by like Christianity, etc. Some stuff similar to that. You feel that a lot of them are transgender because they feel they're rejected because they're told they can't use the restroom they want. It's stuff along those lines, and they feel that when they come together under Satan, out of all things, they can actually like be themselves. And again, all these people very, very like none of them have committed crimes. None of them they don't do like rituals,
sacrificing or something.
Yeah, no. It's not about that. And it's actually like I think everybody, and this is gonna sound crazy, like I think everyone could really legitimately learn something, especially in today's political state, when watching this movie, because it tackles stuff like, and this should be enough. Like when I say this, you should be like, all right, I'm gonna watch it. How come? Because this is an actual situation that the temple was going under for, and actually it's a court case that's still ongoing because the judicial system is kind of like slow.
Yeah.
Why is it that you will have monuments of like the Ten Commandments on political grounds all over the country, like at city halls, etc.? Like really typical God is America, like under God, America, typical stuff. So these people saw that, and they went on into like I'm gonna say that, but they pitched. I think it was a city in Texas. Yeah, this is going on in Texas. Or is it Texas? It's one of those states. I can't remember 18 movies, but if you can have a monument to the Ten Commandments, why can you not have a monument to Baphomet? And Baphomet is basically like the name of like the figure of like the man with the goat head with like
Yeah.
with
He's probably in Hereditary or something.
yeah, like basically like your image of Satan, because the United States, we like to think, is a Christian country, but it's not, because separation of church and state. But
Yeah,
you know,
Christian Satan is good.
in today's age, that's so blurred and it's so annoying. I'm sorry, I don't want to get political, but you know,
No, please do.
but you know, God is American, blah blah blah.
We
and
don't
God
hold
we
back
trust.
here.
It's very like, because even though like I'm Catholic, but it's so annoying seeing that today's politicians enforce their beliefs and beliefs that I share into other people who like
Yeah,
I don't even like know.
Mhm.
And I think that's the main message of this movie about Satan. And like, who would have thought that out of all the movies, of all the documentaries, that you'll be understanding the basic fundamentals of government, that you shouldn't be enforcing a major religion in this country. It'll be a one about Lucifer. Like I said, very insightful, eye opening. It's again very funny, but I think also very important, because not only because of the politics, but these people are genuinely like misunderstood,
Yeah,
and
they're good people.
and they're painted under like different lights just because of the word Satan. And like you'll learn that a lot of them, they don't really like even like believe in like Satan himself. It's just the ultimate symbol of rebellion.
Yeah.
Because like
Well,
if you want,
isn't it like worshiping yourself?
almost in a way, because like out of all the countries in the world, what is like the most, what is the one image that will scream ultimate rebel? Of course, it's gonna be Lucifer,
Yeah,
because like you know,
went against God.
the current political system that loves God is like so. I'm just saying, it's very. It comes out Easter weekend, and like I hope they said they got a theatrical release. So if you can see it, tell your friends. Let's go watch Hail Satan.
Yeah, let's all watch it. Yeah.
I'm down.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like lots Catholic, so I mean,
Also, female
you know.
director. So who? Come on, representation. Come on, guys.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. That's went to some interesting places with.
Thank you, Satan, for
Satan
your
makes
insight.
sense. It's really funny because like I don't want to get talking because they talk about how like in the Bible, Lucifer appears in certain moments. So like the Adam and Eve, the apple. It's really funny because like I don't want to. I'm not an expert like on the Bible, but like, you know those stories like when Satan appears in very specific moments. So like Adam and Eve and the apple, and when Jesus was in the desert, Satan came out and like didn't he tempt him with
Yeah.
ritualism.
yeah, right. And when I don't know the name, what was that? A guy who was gonna kill his son on the mountain.
Abraham.
Yeah.
I went to like Catholic school, so
Yeah, and Satan comes out and he's like, "Don't do it," and then it's like, "I must do it because God." Like these people are like, don't. Satan is painted as being so negative. But like, what if in those moments he was like genuinely like trying to be like, "What are you doing?" So like when he's about to kill his son, Satan's like, "Dude, what are you doing? Like, that's your son. Don't kill him." It's like when he's offering the apple, he's like, "Dude, are you hungry? Here, take this apple." Or like, or it's like, "Jesus, you're in the desert. Would you like something so you're not gonna die?" It's
right,
like,
water.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was the most hilarious thing I had heard probably all week.
Yeah, I can't wait to check that out. That sounds like a really great time.
I want to see it for sure.
Yeah, so I really do hope we hear more about a theatrical release soon. Speaking of theatrical and Sundance, Andrew, you got to check out Velvet Buzzsaw on the big screen. I watched it at home on Netflix. Gene did not watch it like he was supposed to, and that's okay.
Yeah, I did not get a
coward.
No, it's all right. It's all right.
Christ.
I actually don't know your thoughts on it. I already tweeted mine out, so Andrew, go. We'll move on to the Oscar section in a little bit, but I would like to hear your thoughts on Velvet Buzzsaw.
This movie could have been like one of my favorites of the year so far, but it kind of like, it really does feel like Dan Gilroy thought that he was onto something that was like so much more, but it kind of doesn't deliver. Because like, are we talking spoilers or no?
No spoilers for Gene, but I think it's okay to like say why the movie doesn't land because
Yeah, I mean,
Okay,
this is one of those movies where from like the opening 10 minutes it telegraphs this is what we're about, and then the rest of the movie is just repeating that over and over again.
yeah, and you know what? Some of it I thought was like funny. Like this is funny. I know you've told me this before, but this is kind of dumb. I like it, but I saw someone on Twitter, I forgot who, say that this is like Final Destination, only set in like the art world, and it kind of is. But I think what puts Final Destination over it is that like they learn how to like it's not just people just dying, you know, like people like the main characters they catch on, they learn how to cheat death, they know how to play games around with death. Death almost becomes like a character that you feel, and this was trying to do that, but it just doesn't.
Yeah,
And I'm not saying that this movie should have been Final Destination, but like it was already kind of going in a similar route. That borrowing a few more things from that series wouldn't have like hurt. Like it would have helped because the movie just kind of ends and you're like, okay, like I guess, like I guess I just sat down and I just saw this. And there's a lot of like you said, there's like a lot of filler. There's like a certain character that like doesn't need to be in the movie at all.
Is that what's her name from Stranger Things?
Who?
Coco, the
No,
intern.
no, it's not her.
Yeah.
It's not her.
Yeah,
There's
no, she's great.
No.
She has
she's
the
funny,
funniest running gag in the entire movie.
No, yeah, she's fantastic. But there's a. I'm not gonna say who, but like he just kind of served like no purpose. But there's parts where he's generally really funny, but at the end of the day, I'm like, yeah, he kind of could have been like not in the movie, huh? Because like nothing changed. Like,
I'm actually curious about who you're talking about now because
you could say because now I need to know the context.
Well, can I say it?
Yeah, you can say the person.
Well, like John Malkovich.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. No, you're right. Yeah.
Like I said, there's scenes that are very funny with him, and he's a great actor, and he legitimately made me laugh a lot. But like at the end of the day, I was like, he's not like involved in the plot. He like disappears for like 30 minutes, or like more than 30 minutes, I think. And like
I
don't know.
I was gonna say
and he comes.
he's like the predator dog.
No, the Predator dogs are
disappears.
worse.
Does he disappear out of the movie?
Yeah, because John Malkovich is still John Malkovich, you know, so he's entertaining. I got issues with the dogs too, but for this movie, yeah, it's like Dan Gilroy thought he was doing like a Manhunter level like metatextual story about our relationship to like images and sound and projections, and but he's really doing Friday the 13th.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
It could have been. It could have been. There was so much potential. Watching the movie, I was like, "This is great."
Yeah, there's moments where it just like it sees. Yeah. I didn't hate it, but I was a little disappointed. I'd actually watch it again. Like it's a perfect like middle ground Netflix movie for me. Like I'm surprised at people saying it's like the worst movie of the year. It's like no, it's not.
No,
it's not very
really. It's not even the worst Netflix movie, probably.
No way.
Yeah,
no way.
No.
But this does feel like that common Netflix problem. Thankfully, not so much anymore. But for a while, I was like, man, was this a first draft? Because it really feels like it.
No,
that one had its own set of problems.
Okay.
But this one feels like a first draft that they turned into a shooting draft in like a week.
Yep. Because you give this to anyone, like to any script doctor, and they'll be like, okay, so and so out of the movie, so and so. Actually, maybe they shouldn't leave this early. So and so, maybe they actually should have left sooner. There's so many things that like they could have just been easily like fixed like in another draft.
Yeah, like all the ideas are there. Like I'm cool with like taking the piss out of like the really pretentious critics. You know, like there's this great moment with John Malkovich's character when he's welcoming this other dude into his house, and he's like, "Oh my god, what is this?" And he's like, "That's the garbage." And it's like that. The idea is there. The joke is funny, but because they do nothing with it, it just sits there, and it's like, oh, so you're just kind of like flippant towards all criticism, you know? It's
Yeah,
never
very
as like up its own
one-dimensional.
ass like Birdman or anything like that.
Oh god,
But
Oh, yeah.
it
it's very one-dimensional.
yeah. It's just like a dude who told like a funny joke. You're like, yeah, that was funny, and then they're like, hey, remember that time I told that joke that was really funny? It's like, yeah, you just told me, and they keep
Yeah.
bringing it up at dinner, and you're like, yeah, it's not so funny anymore. But you still like their
Thankfully,
personality, so it's okay.
No, exactly. Like, thankfully, like Jake Gyllenhaal and like the rest of the cast, they really carry this movie because if they're not as like eccentric as they are, like Tony Collette, like even John Malkovich, even though he doesn't need to be there, he's pretty good. Like, you're just not interested. You only want to see it because it's these people and they're doing things that are like that you've never seen them do. And I think that's personally my main appeal to this movie because I've never seen like a lot of these actors that I like do such like bizarre roles. But I think it needs to be more than that. That's gonna get me to see the movie, but it's gonna get me like to love it. I don't think so.
Yeah, it could have been a great like kickoff to horror in 2019. Instead, it's okay. It's okay. The immortalized moment of Jake Gyllenhaal telling an artist that he's completely like done with his work on Twitter already. Spectacular. Like the movie was written to be nothing but like insertable memes in the conversation online.
Yeah, it's meme material. It's meme material. The
There you
movie.
go.
Yeah. So yeah,
I need to see this movie now.
I would still recommend it to people who have Netflix. It's not something
Yeah.
I would recommend going out of your way to see. But if you got the spare afternoon or something, I'll turn on Velvet Buzzsaw, see what that's about, and then
Hey,
you'll
okay,
be like,
I'll do
why
that.
didn't? And then you'll just be confused, like, why didn't anything like come together? And it's not even like angry enough to be like a fun, cynical exercise because none of the kills are very exciting.
There's
like-
one.
There's
There's
one, but they
one.
give it away in the trailer. So if you haven't seen the trailer, don't watch it.
Yeah.
Because there's one good kill, and
There could've
everyone's
been-
mostly unlikable except for one character, which is fine. But they don't do anything.
Yeah, they don't do anything.
maybe I'll
with
get,
that one
like-
likable character.
Maybe I'll get like drunk and watch it or something.
Yeah, you might have a better time because it is genuinely funny. Cast is good. I'm surprised it was shot by what's his name? I thought I had it down. Oh, it's gonna kill me. He shot everything Dan Gilroy shot. He shot 2 Mission Impossible movies. Yada yada.
Oh, really?
He's a really great cinematographer. But this is like so flat and Netflix looking, and it's too bad.
Okay,
This guy
Lola,
just
here's
does
the
better
thing.
work.
I saw it on the big screen, and even then, some of these Netflix movies, like Roma, or like maybe like Okja, you watch it in the theater, and you wouldn't be like, "Oh, this is going to streaming, huh?" No. It feels like a movie. If that makes any sense.
Mhm.
I saw this on the big screen, and even then, I was like, "This kind of has that." It kind of has that Netflix or that streaming vibe to it. Like I don't know if it's like like what you said. It's flat. Like nothing for a movie
Pops.
that it's about like art. The art doesn't always pop out. Like the
Yeah.
colors.
Even when some of the paintings literally come alive. That's not a spoiler because that's what the movie's about. But
Yeah.
God, it could have
You
looked
could have
so
done so
striking.
much.
You know?
You could have done so much.
Yeah, man, that's too bad. It's too bad it's not the shit. But oh well, it happens. You know, there's more
I
movies
still
on
need to
Netflix
see it.
coming out. Yeah, I still recommend it, Gene, because I'm shitting on it, but I'm like, I liked it. It's fine. I'll move on with my life now to talk about the Oscars because we should talk about why those award shows are not worth watching, especially this year.
Because trying to do an audible groan.
I'm actually pro award shows. I know that might be like weird. Maybe I'm just a capitalist drone. I don't know. That's something I got to work out myself. But I do think that highlighting awards in the art community and like highlighting voices and people, even though the awards are like objectively money, like built by money grubbing people, you know, and like it is basically just where the money goes, where the popularity goes. Which is also why the popularity Oscar that got killed was always a terrible idea because it's already kind of that, the award shows.
Yeah.
But I think using these awards, not just the Oscars, but any film awards at the end of the year and beginning of the new year, are a good way to spread voices and art that people are drawn to. You know, not everything gets the recognition that it should, so it's up to us to highlight those voices as well.
Right.
But the fact that the Academy has been so consistently shitting itself on the dick,
They've
like
been really just like
incessantly, like
shooting
every
themselves in
decision
the
they've
foot.
made,
every
decision they've made is just the opposite of good. They're like the Donald Trump of movie awards this year, and it's just remarkable.
it's constant foot shooting.
I think a lot of it is just like it's just so hard to believe because like last year was like the year, you know, like Roger Deakins, Shape of Water, Guillermo del Toro, Jordan Peele, like it felt like this is it, guys. Like we finally did it. We got weird science fiction romance. We got a horror movie winning a screenplay award.
Yeah, I was going to say you had the Time's Up movement as well, very prominent.
And then it goes to this. It's like it almost feels like it's not the same person driving behind the wheel.
Well, it's like a step backwards.
Yeah.
This is a leap backwards. This is like a nosedive backwards. And it's like there's some good things in there. Cuarón getting another nomination, probably a win, at least for either cinematography, director, or best picture. I do like Stars Born a lot. I know there's
Black Panther.
That's kind of like the La La Land of this year. Black Panther getting in there. Ryan Coogler didn't get a director nomination though, huh?
No.
Which is shocking because Bradley Cooper had a comment where he said he was kind of disappointed at first when he didn't get nominated for best director, and people criticized him because he's a white man. And I totally am on board with those complaints towards him, but I also understand when everything else that was contributed to the movies getting nominations and recognized, I could understand being bummed that your work as the director in charge of the film is not getting recognized.
Yeah, I mean, that's,
I get that.
Yeah,
there's way bigger problems with the Oscars this year, but
he was legitimately sad. I felt kind of, it's like, he certainly did a very he made a well-crafted film, so.
His first movie, and it's not terrible. Good for him.
It's really good. One thing that I feel like always kind of flip-flops, which each season is like how much they really go into like Oscar bait. So like you could say, oh yeah, so-and-so. I'm not going to name names because that's going to start some whole other conversation. But Gary Oldman, I'm just going to say Gary Oldman. So-and-so only got the nomination because he's an actual historical figure. He's under a lot of makeup. Et cetera, et cetera. I'm not saying that to Christian Bale. It's not to Christian Bale because I think
the other guy in makeup.
Christian Bale did a really good job. I'm all for that. But
he played Satan himself.
You're like, okay, I can see why the Academy would be really attracted to nominating Rami Malek for playing the iconic figure that is Freddie Mercury, but at the same time, anyone who saw that movie who's not like a blind shill knows that they're watching an ass movie.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I'm not just saying this because I don't like Bryan Singer or whatever, but that movie is genuinely not good, and it fails as like a decent like biopic you can take the movie can structure and make it a different band, any other band, and it was still.
You could have done any other band that was at Live Aid because that was the main conflict of the movie.
Yeah,
you're gonna make it to Live Aid.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is that way Bohemian Rhapsody is built, change the band, change the celebrities, whatever you would do, it's still not going to work because it's built like shit.
Mm-hmm.
And like the fact that didn't it get Best Picture? Like, it's clownery at its finest because, and it's not even like, in my opinion, it's not even like, whoa, to each his own. I can see that for something like Vice, where that has people turning heads. I understand, like that movie's not for you. I totally get it. Bohemian Rhapsody, that movie's shit. You like that movie? What is wrong with you, in my opinion?
No, you know what? I get if someone likes the movie, if it's the first movie they've ever seen in their life. Like that's when I understand.
Maybe, yeah.
If you're 4 or something.
Yeah, if you didn't know movies existed, you're like, whoa, they can put pictures and sound together like that? oh my gosh, that's so exciting. But, you know, the fact that it's an Academy Award nominated movie is just fucking stupid. I guess that's it. It's just idiotic. Even
Again,
if there
we're
was
not
a
even-
way,
yeah.
even if there's a way to like disregard the Bryan Singer shit,
Yeah, exactly.
which you shouldn't even have to do.
No,
He's the credited
no.
director, you know, and he's got a nice back end after all the box office money and awards money. So fuck that. But
Yeah.
there's just nothing to them, like down to scene construction, to blocking, the clear fact that they didn't get the coverage they needed, so they had to like butcher this thing further in the editing to like get something borderline watchable. And I'd still argue it's not watchable at all.
Diego,
Yeah.
why is it that in Bohemian Rhapsody it takes one person 10 edits to sit down in a chair?
Because they didn't have coverage. Like, you know what? Like, I was talking to Gene about this before
It's
the show.
10. I'm not even kidding. It's 10 to sit in a chair. It's 10 cuts.
I can't
Watch
even
the
blame
video.
the
Oh my
editors.
God.
I can't even blame
Yeah.
the editors, because if they didn't have the footage because their director is a fucking creep and bad at his job and doesn't show up on set, then they don't have stuff to cut together and they have to like use duct tape and scotch, you know? So
I mean, as
it's
an editor, I've been there.
yeah, like if I was the editor on this movie, I would have just killed myself. Like, what do you even do? You know, like
You, John Ottman.
yeah,
You
or
half-ass
maybe
the
John
job.
Ottman's an ass too. I don't know.
Don't know.
I did not expect to go into this award season ending up hating like Rami Malek too, which is too bad because I thought he was I think he's a
okay,
talented
look.
actor,
But
but
I got a story, my boys. I got a
oh
story.
god,
Oh god.
Well,
am I allowed
I'm
to
not
air
gonna
this?
yes, where I work, I'm not gonna say where I work, but I work in a place where I get a lot of customers, and
I know where
a
he
lot of-
works.
Okay, yeah. We all,
Don't tell him.
if you go on
I
my
won't
Twitter,
say
yeah, you'll know where I work if you know me. You go on my Twitter, but
Okay.
I'm not going to say it on here. I meet a lot of people. There is a customer that I see almost every single week, multiple times a week. She is a member of the Academy, very down to earth. You would have never guessed she's a part of the Academy, right? Because she comes in really chill, casual, down to earth. It wasn't until she told me, I was like, what? That's so crazy. Every week she gives me an update. She's trying to pitch a script. Great person, regardless. She worked on an interview, and this was last year in the second half, so it's still very close, where she tells me all the tea she can tell me. And she goes, one day she saw me, she's like, Andrew, she was literally, I've known her for years since I worked at that job. She came up to me, she's like, Andrew, you would have never guessed what just happened to me like the other day. I was like, what happened? It's like, I was working on an interview with Rami Malek, and I was on the set, and he dead ass flicked his microphone at one of the cameramen. I was like, what? And he goes, he was on he's sitting it was like the setup. Imagine like typical interview. There's like the tall chairs. There's a camera on one side, right? I guess he was having a bad day because she said he wasn't very reactive throughout the whole interview, and he just seemed really down. So I understand sometimes we have our bad days. If you're a celebrity,
Sure.
etc. There's different tolls on your life. I understand
of course.
you can have a bad day, but what she said, he got his mic. It was like a small mic, and he said, "Would be here," and he flicked it in the direction of one of the crew, and he walked off when it was over.
Jeez.
Now I'm not saying don't be like on the Waffle Podcast. So and so said that Rami Malek throws things. No. I said he flicked, not that he threw. This is not like Christian Bale, Terminator Salvation. He flicked his thing in the direction of a crew member.
Jeez.
I don't care if he threw it or he flicked it. That sounds rude as hell.
That's very
And
unprofessional.
he literally said, and I trust this person. This customer would not lie to me. I've known her for years. She tells me everything about the screenplay she's writing that she's trying to do. He said, "Does it look like I want to be here?" And he flicked this thing. So when he told me that, and she said that his image was ruined after that. He's thinks he's a douche now because that was so unprofessional. When he walked off, the whole crew, she said they were all stunned, their mouths dropped. Did he really just walk off like a diva for no reason? And apparently the interview went fine, but you would never know unless you were there.
Oh wow.
Jeez.
So what I'm trying to say is that I don't know, Bryan Singer, him not him kind of defending him in a way. He's not really like
complicit.
It's weird. He's like in the middle, and even then, the middle's not good enough. You need to be on one side.
Right.
You shouldn't. Yeah.
He's basically complicit in being okay with
him being complicit, and then me knowing that he could be like a dick to people on set. I don't want to. No, I'm like I don't like that guy. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, everyone who was silent up until, because when the allegations resurfaced because of the Esquire piece through way of the Atlantic, that's when people started finally speaking up about it. Like producers were like, "Well, he wasn't really part of the thing. He directed like 90% of the movie on set, like on the set job. That was quote unquote Bryan Singer because he wasn't also really there because he's just bad at his job in general,
right?" Yeah, he doesn't show up. He's intoxicated.
But people didn't want to. They didn't want to take away from their shining moment. Obviously Queen's been trying to like suck their memory dry of Freddie Mercury for like an extra buck for like years now, and so it's really gross. Like Brian May, like up till a couple weeks ago, he was thanking Bryan Singer on Twitter, and then now today he was like, "Well, he wasn't really directing."
After like.
Sorry. Fuck Brian May.
Yeah, well, he's cussed people out on like Instagram.
Yeah, fuck off, Brian May.
Yeah.
The only members of Queen are Freddie Mercury and John Deacon.
There we go.
Or you don't know, John Deacon had nothing to do with Bohemian Rhapsody. He had nothing to do with this movie. He's still good. He's still good, guys. Not all bad.
There you go.
I feel a little better now. But yeah. I don't want to end this episode on a negative note.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you guys think the Academy could do? Let's take a minute each. What do you think the Academy could do to do better? Apart from like kicking out the fucking old people that are clearly fucking shit up still.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Everyone who's complicit in shit like Bryan Singer. Because I do believe that one day this could be turned around, but until then we have to like stop watching this. Like I will not be watching this. I'm probably going to be live tweeting Spider-Man 3 because I've been meaning to do that for a while.
Yeah.
So yeah, actually that really quick. What will you guys been doing Oscar night, and what could they do for future shows to avoid this train wreck?
Yeah, I'm not going to watch it. I'm very hurt that. Obviously the nominations just, made me not want to watch it, but the added just kick in the gut was them getting rid of cinematography and editing, and I have so many friends and myself that are involved.
And hair and makeup.
Hair and makeup,
well, like fucking bullshit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The things that make a movie, and they're not airing those awards.
Yeah, exactly. That's
right.
Bullshit. I don't know. I'll watch some of my screeners again. I'll rewatch the Spirit Awards that I voted in.
Yay!
But not gonna watch it. I'll do whatever. I think that they need to make it. This is. I don't know if this is an odd suggestion, but like something to make it more relevant because it feels like it's too much on like the pop and the circumstance, and it's not about the actual movies and the craft of movie making. And like, okay, people say, like, oh, no one's interested in, but okay, guys, just like, if I'm crazy by saying this, just tell me. But like the MTV Movie Awards, a lot of kids watch that, and like a lot of young people watch that, and like it feels like that highlights it sometimes more than the actual Oscars,
Yeah, because don't they do like stunt awards?
I mean, yeah, they do stunt awards. I mean, obviously stuff like it's like, sometimes
best
it's
kiss.
not like the best. Yeah, best kiss. It's not the best sometimes, but it's at least engaging, and it makes young people like myself care about like the art of movie making, and it makes it somewhat engaging. Like just something that like shows you what makes movies so awesome, makes movies so such a unique art form and such a a one of its kind craft. And I feel like sometimes the MTV Movie Awards do that more than the Oscars, where it's just about what are they wearing, what is the dress, who is the actress that's presenting. It's like, well, I mean, that's cool, but it's not about that. It's about like,
Yeah, I want to say that I think the fashion element, I think that has its place there too.
Okay.
But I also don't think that's even like the root of this current problem.
But do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I guess that's my main critique. Just make people care.
What about you, Andrew? What will you be doing Oscar night? What do you think they could do to fix this if they're around in 5 years? Because people like really hate them right now.
Yeah. Well, what I would recommend doing is that this is inspired because I'm a big fan of David Lynch, and I only just
Yeah.
recently saw
Yes.
Wild at Heart for like the first time, and I was just like, every time I see something new of his that I've never seen before, I'm just like, I go into like a whole loop. So if you have a favorite director, writer, any artist that you really really like, and you haven't seen something specifically from their work that you've been meaning to do, watch it. Because watch it on that night specifically. You have time to kill, because it's just always good to like see as much as possible, because you never know, because you might discover something new that you didn't know about that person before. Now, what do I think? It's very tricky because every year I feel like for like the past 5 years that I've been watching the Oscars, every year there's always the day after the event. It's like ratings really low, lower than last year. The ratings, and I feel as if like, do the ratings like actually matter? Because this is not like, it's just once a year. It's not like a multi, like 3 times a year. It's just one thing once a year, and you already know your ratings aren't getting that high. So what makes you think that doing all these things is going to attract more people? Because I feel like what Gene said, um, the awards are specifically, they're very branded and they're for a crowd. So what's wrong with giving that crowd what they want and what you're supposed to give them, instead of appealing to not the crowd? If that makes any sense. Like, why are you going to appeal to people who don't watch movies to watch the Oscars? They're not going to watch the Oscars. They don't watch movies. It's like, why are you going to appeal to people who don't listen to a lot of modern music to watch the Grammys?
Yeah.
Are you going to change the Grammys? Like, no, watch it, because they literally do not listen to the music. They're not like, then that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. People that, I don't understand why they try to wrap their heads like, we need to boost the ratings to get new people to watch this. Like, why? It's like, what? They don't even care. Like, I don't know.
Focus on your like core base, I guess. Your core. Like,
Yeah, focus on your core base and try to like, if you're really worried about people not watching your program, then you would think that your first choice of action were to be to focus on your core base to make sure they're still keeping you afloat, and then maybe then you could do make other decisions to get new people to come in. But seeming like doing the opposite and focusing on others and the people that are lifting you up.
Yeah, you alienated everyone with that cinematography and erasing all those other categories.
Those are literally the people who go to the event, the people who have parties. Like, when have you ever heard of people that, because Oscar parties are pretty popular? Do you hear like people? The only people who host these parties are people that watch movies.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, you're not gonna make an Oscar party like a new phenomenon from like all these like young people or like etc. Or maybe if you want to get new viewers because you're so worried about ratings, then maybe you shouldn't be so anal on what movies you nominate, and maybe you should nominate stuff. I'm not saying pity nominations, but maybe you should have a more open mind and nominate stuff. And I don't want to sound, because like there's a very left side and a very right side to this argument.
Yeah.
It's like, nominate films that people watch. Like, I don't think that's a thing too, because independent film, even though sometimes it doesn't bring in a crowd, deserves recognition, and sometimes there could be some really great stuff. But also at the same time, maybe people gravitate a lot to certain movies because they're good. maybe people like me. It's like, and again, I thought it was a turning point. People saw Get Out. People saw Mad Max Fury Road. I don't know if people saw Avatar. I guess the highest grossing movie of all time, and the Academy looked at Avatar when it did that. It's like, why can't you? And like, there was this debate with Black Panthers. Like, well, you probably should, because I think a lot of people genuinely not only saw this movie multiple times, but they did it because they actually liked it. So I don't know. Maybe you should have a more open mind on what to nominate. Don't be so snobby.
Yeah.
And like, just don't worry about. I don't know. It's always the because this is only happening as ratings, etc. And again, I don't understand like why it's such a trip. It's one night a year. People are still gonna get money. People are still gonna watch it.
Yeah.
It just it's very confusing. I do agree with I do agree with you guys. I feel like in a few years we're going to get back on track.
Mhm.
But I don't see it being next year.
No, me neither.
Oh God, it's maybe it gets worse. Who knows? God.
And I could be hopeful for in 2 years. But again, it's just so heartbreaking because I genuinely want to see stuff like Black Panther,
Yeah. Okay.
A Star is Born,
Mhm.
Roma, and other. I can't think
That's
right now,
fine.
but like in other movies to get like their time to shine.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not gonna do that if you're not even putting it on TV. Like, what do you want me to do?
Mhm. Exactly.
Yeah. I guess for me then, really quick, as we wind down the episode,
Yes. Yeah. We're out of time.
work on getting a host early. Work on someone who could be a crowd pleaser, but also cut the bits. No one cares about the bits. That's fine. If you can't get a host who could tell jokes, just have him be charming. You know.
Just not Kevin Hart, please.
Not Kevin Hart. Also, he cheated on his pregnant wife. I just feel like we should be remembering that, among many other reasons, and his homophobic jokes.
Yes.
He's clearly not a great dude. Okay, don't get married to that idea. It's so weird that was the hill they died on this year. Like, we can't Kevin Hart. We don't know who to get. Like, really? Holy
Like,
fuck!
yeah.
But also, yeah, cut the bits. There's like the big complaint was like they don't know how to figure out how to sort out time for all the nominations and the winners on the announcements on live television. Cut the bits. I guarantee you'll have time. That you don't have to cut
exactly.
anything. You cut a single award, you're telling that demographic of the industry to go fuck themselves. So go fuck yourself and avoid that problem for the future.
Yeah.
And again, I'll be watching Sam Raimi's criminally underappreciated, albeit flawed, Spider-Man 3 on Oscar night.
I'd rather see Sam Raimi's Crime Wave than the Oscars.
I haven't seen that. Is it bad?
He doesn't really care for it. It's a deep cut, Diego.
Okay, all right. Maybe I'll check that out too. I'll do a double feature. Andrew, thank you so much for joining us again. Thank you for your insight into Sundance. And
thank you, Andrew.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Yokis101, YOKIS 101. And for a lot of these other movies that I'm not going to be able to talk about some of the other films out of the 18 that I saw, but I did get a chance to write more extensive reviews and to give more thoughts and some of the other stuff because I felt like this was a really good year. And hopefully, if all goes well, a lot of these films get picked up because it's so tragic when something really good makes an impression at a festival and the second one picks it up. Like, we're only barely getting Brie Larson's directorial debut.
Oh, yeah, that's
so
shitty.
If all goes well, fingers crossed, you guys will be seeing these movies a lot soon. But please check out my Twitter. I have my reviews linked there.
Thank you so much, Gene. Thank you for joining me again. Where can people find you?
Gene9892 at Twitter and Instagram is my handle.
And of course, you can find me on Twitter.com at DEWGO Waffles. Check out the rest of the Waffle Press. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this podcast. If you didn't like and subscribe anyways, because you might find something you do like. So check out the Patreon, support us on there. Check out the other retrospectives. Check out the other shows. Let's talk all monsters. Let's talk about movies. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We have been professionally unprofessional.